Guys, so the Premier League is back and we are going to week 16 of the Premier League. 15 for Liverpool because they missed a game, of course, but it's week 16 of the Premier League. A lot of games are going to be played, and I'm just trying to give you a quick preview of what I'm expecting over the games. There are, of course, so many games which are going to be played, and in fact, the first game that is going to be played is actually going to be played around 5 o'clock my time, which means if it's 5 o'clock my time, it's around 3 o'clock British time. But so the first games that we need to watch is going to be in the goal rush. Arsenal are playing Everton in a game that I feel like it's going to be really, really interesting. There's a 7% chance Everton can even try to get a victory in this game. A draw, it's a 14% chance and 79% chance of Arsenal winning the game. So we already know what this game is telling us. It's an Arsenal in and out. I think everything is just screaming that they are gonna win. The question is that by how many goals. Of course, they had an amazing time in Europe beating Monaco, and the Everton have been resting since when? Since midweek. Last week midweek, because they did not play during the weekend because the game was postponed against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby, and they did not play in the midweek because they are not in the European competition. Now they are going to play their first game after some time against Arsenal at Emirates. The problem is this: they are going to the Emirates. Arsenal are really good at dealing with teams in the Emirates. So listen to one of the interesting insights. After a run of 4 defeats in 5 Premier League games against Everton between 2020 to 2023, 1 win, Arsenal have won each of their last 3 against the Toffees. So this is a game that is just straightforward to the point. Arsenal are gonna walk through this team like they're even standing or doing what. The other game, of course, which is going to be played is that Ipswich are going to be playing against Wolves. Wolves need to buy a victory. They have to win something because where things stands right now, it's not looking good, and they need to win something at least. So I think we'll see what happens, but Ipswich are a dangerous team. They might not be able to keep the victory, but they are performing. In fact, they're outperforming most of their teams, and we won't be surprised if Ipswich actually win this game. I'll give you my thoughts and my predictions later on into the video. We have Newcastle versus Leicester. Newcastle are a confusing team. Newcastle beat a team, drew against Liverpool, then they lost to Brentford. They beat Arsenal. It's like they are the Robin Hood, but in a better way than what Tottenham Hotspurs are doing into surprising the world. So I'm expecting Newcastle to put out a fight. Leicester City under Ruud van Nistelrooy, they haven't lost a game. They are drawing or winning the game. So I do believe they're going to continue with that streak. They're going to try by means to keep putting pressure, and it's going to be exciting to see how the game goes on like. But yeah, let's see what happens in that big game. I'll talk about it. Then Liverpool will be hosting Fulham at the same time as Arsenal will be playing the Toffees. Of course, there's a 73% chance Liverpool actually win this game, 16% draw, as well as 11% win for Fulham. Remember, we have to talk about it. Fulham actually drew with Arsenal just last week, and because of that, they can build onto that. Liverpool, of course, 1-1 got nil against Girona in the Champions League. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But they're coming to Anfield. The other team is on number 10. The other one is on top of the league. And listen to one of these insights that I'm seeing here. Liverpool have won 9 of their last 12 Premier League meetings with Fulham, 2 draws and 1 loss. That's what has happened. In their 9 victories, they've only drawn 2 times and they've lost 1 game. With their last only defeat in that time, a 1-0 loss at Anfield in March 2021. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But in terms of what Liverpool are going to try to do, they have in terms of like a space of actually doing something. But don't be surprised. This Fulham team, they're under Marco Silva. It's not a walkabout. Don't take it for granted. They will, and they can surprise a lot of people. It's going to be interesting to see how the game goes. But that's the other game that I'm going to give you my predictions over. Then we have Nottingham Forest playing against Aston Villa. Now, what makes this game interesting is because Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest are literally in the shoes of where Aston Villa were last season. In fact, maybe I might say Aston Villa were better, but Nottingham Forest are literally in the same shoes. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game goes. That's why it's difficult to tell in terms of their prediction. 36% for both teams in terms of their win rate. Then we have a 28% chance that this could be a draw. It's going to be played at the stadium of Nottingham Forest, which gives an upper hand to Nottingham Forest. And they're coming from a victory against United. So in terms of confidence-wise, they're high. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Listen to one of the insight that I'm seeing. Nottingham Forest have won just one of their last 11 Premier League games against Aston Villa. 5 draws, 5 losses. Although it was a 2-0 victory in this exact fixture last season. So that's where they won. And one thing you have to understand, it's been played at their home ground, so it's not going to be just as easy as people think it could be. They will put out a fight, that's for sure. And I'm just curious to see how the game will go on. But like I'm saying, there will be a fight in this game. So those are the games that are going to be played tomorrow on Saturday. Then we have the Sunday fixtures, and the Sunday fixtures looks like this. Brighton will be playing against Crystal Palace. Brighton have been having those low in terms of their performance, in terms of their win. They drew against Leicester City in the game that they led by 2-0. It ended up as a draw 2-2, so they need to rise up from that. And Crystal Palace are coming from a draw against Man City, so in terms of the belief, in terms of the confidence, is a bit high. They can perform, they can get the job done. So it's going to be interesting to see how the game goes on. But I'm telling you, this is a game to watch, that's for sure. Then, of course, we have the United derby. Manchester United play against Manchester City at the Etihad. These two teams are at an all-time low in terms of confidence. United, at least they were able to pick up a victory. City have a draw in the loss in the last 2 fixtures heading to this game. So United might have an upper hand, but in terms of confidence wise. But of course, when you're to predict, when you're giving percentage, we're going to give Man City because they're the former champions. Hence why probability wins 61% is to City, 20% is to a draw, and 19% is to United. So this is Amiron's first game against Pep Guardiola with Man United, even though he beat them with Sporting just a few weeks ago before he left Sporting coming to United. So he's somebody who has already held what I call a template of beating Pep Guardiola. Can he take that and actually perform better going forward? Those are the questions that people should be asking themselves, looking into this game and seeing what happens. In terms of the insight of the game, Manchester City have won 5 of their last 6 Premier League games against Manchester United. 1 loss, more than they have their previous state, in which there were 4 wins, 3 draws, and of course 6 losses. So the upper hand is all screaming United, but the question is that what will happen? United have lost each of their last 3 Premier League away games against the City, conceding 13 goals in the process. They've lost 4 consecutive league visits to the Citizen between 1952 and 1955. So look at how far the history will be made if City win this game. So everything is speaking against Man City. It's gonna be a big game. It's gonna be a good game. I can't wait to see my results will be there as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and give me your results predictions in the comment section. Always important. Then Southampton are playing Tottenham Hotspurs, and Southampton are not a good team. Southampton are trying to do things that they always put themselves into trouble. And one thing about Tottenham Hotspur, they are good pressers. They are good pressers, and I'm hoping that they take that to their advantage, because if they continue with the way they do, they've drawn with the Rangers, they lost to Chelsea last week. They need to win this game. They need to win this game. In terms of probability to win, 56% is saying Tottenham will win, 21% is saying a draw, then 23% is Southampton victory. So it'll be an interesting one, because these two teams are literally sitting about 7.7, or should I say 8 positions apart. Tottenham in 11 and Southampton in 20. So they should be a better game. Southampton, we've seen them adjust into big games. When they do this in this game, those are the questions that we need to see them do before we start saying anything. So I can't wait to see what happens on that one. Then we have Chelsea playing against Brentford in a game which is going to be played at Stamford Bridge. Brentford are an interesting team because they are surprising people, but Chelsea have a 73% win percentage, 15% draw, then 12% loss if they are to be beaten by Brentford. They are number 2 and Brentford are number 9, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in terms of the insight to the game. Chelsea have won their first Premier League meeting with the Brentford, but they are since winless in their last 5 against them. Oh wow, 2 draws and 3 losses, with all 3 defeats coming at Stamford Bridge. So that's something that the manager has to stay change, because Thomas Frank has not gone anywhere and his bees are still standing, and trust me, I know what these bees can do. Then the last game, of course, which is going to be played on Monday, Bournemouth are playing the Hammers. It's going to be played on the 16th of December, of course. Yes, and let's see what the Cherries do. The Cherries always wins this game, and those are my previews of the games. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the comment section in terms of your predictions and what you think. What am I thinking? I think Bournemouth will win this game by 2-0. I think Chelsea will win by 3-1. 3-2. I think Southampton will lose this game by 2-0 because they do changes in terms of how they approach the game. Man City United, I think there's gonna end as a stalemate 2-2 draw, and I see Brighton beating Crystal Palace by 1-0. I see Nottingham Forest shocking Aston Villa by beating them by 3-1. I think so, 3-1. Liverpool beat Fulham by 3-0. Newcastle will win against Leicester by 1-0. Then I think there's gonna be a 1-1 draw. Wood is refusing to lose. Would this be his first loss? I'm curious. Wolves will lose against Ipswich by 2-1. Then lastly but not least, Arsenal will beat Everton by 4-0. Those are my predictions. They are well logged. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section in your prediction. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the content. Always important. We'll be back again with another one. I'm out. I've been your host, Sam. Sam, we'll see you on another one. Peace. Subscribe to the connect.